Because I can tell you, I live in a place right now where I can say very transparently, would I like people to like what I'm doing? Sure. But it's no longer a requirement for me. Yes, truthfully, I would love people to read my book and love it. But if they read it and they don't like it, they hate it, that's okay. I don't need your approval. I didn't write the book so that you would approve of it. I wrote first and foremost that I would approve of it and my family would approve of it. And that's a very important lesson, because until we can get over why we even value what other people think. I didn't say we don't listen, we can learn from it, but we shouldn't allow what other people think to rule our lives and how we behave. And there's a giant difference between the two.
I know we're not explicitly talking about the creative pursuit or creative
Right.
product, but Rick Rubin has a passage, a thought, if you will, that I think is very much in line with what we're discussing here, which is what people think of your, in this case, the creative product. So in this case, he's a producer. So he's talking about the creation of music. And so if you stop to care about what people will think, you're already losing in terms of the final product, because it's going to have uncertainty, anxiety, perhaps. It's not going to be the full vision that you're realizing, precisely because you're stuck in what will people think. So you need to first and foremost think about what you're trying to create it because you were the one with the idea. Then it's up to the world to judge it.
That's right. And I love that you said that. It's up to the world to judge it. And one of the things that I've had to go through in my life is I had to reconcile with myself, how am I going to feel as some people in the world judge in such a way that is not in alignment with what my vision is, right? Because judgment, that word also goes along with another word, being condemned. You've been judged, right? Nobody likes to be judged. We don't mind judging other people, but we don't want to look at that mirror, right? So I think that I'm going to go back to the phrase that I used earlier is you have to work on yourself in such a way that you become enough for yourself. And when you are enough for yourself, you don't need the world or other people's judgment. You don't need that anymore.
And I think that ties beautifully into a sentence that you have in your website itself. And I was reading through it. You have, it was almost like a catalog of ideas of living and ideas to approach life and change. But there was one particular one that really captured me, which was actually a question. So, what are you willing to sacrifice to become who you're meant to be?
That's right. That's my favorite question for myself because it's the most difficult. And I ask it all the time. And, I didn't come to learn that question until about, I guess it was 5 years ago. And so I came to that question during the early phases of training for my very first Ironman. And there was a voice, a soft voice in my head leading up to signing up for my first Ironman. And it started out with, and by the way, this was during COVID, right? And during COVID, I didn't have a bad COVID experience. I mean, I was at home with my wife for a short period of time, and we were taking lunch walks together and having, it wasn't bad. I'm getting to know my neighbors better. And but everything in life was fine. And then all of a sudden I started getting this feeling about you're not where you're supposed to be. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not in my head. What do you mean I'm not where I'm supposed to be? Everything's great. The sky is blue. I had a great walk with my wife at lunch today. No, Sky, you're not where you're supposed to be. And that voice quickly, as I began to confront it of what are you talking about, right? That quickly led to another two words which were, well, Scott, the reason you're not where you're supposed to be is because you have all these broken promises in your life. What are you talking about? Where is this going?